What's going on, guys? It's the Entertainment Critic and welcome back to another video on Flash Season 5, Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, Supergirl Season 4, and Arrow Season 7. This is going to be a video talking about the 4-way crossover going into 2019, which is crazy to think about because these shows have been going on since 2012, and we've had a lot of crossovers, and next year is going to be one of the biggest, I have the feeling, even bigger than this year with the Nazi crossover and stuff like that. So, getting straight into it, it was confirmed today by the CW that next year in the crossover we're going to get not only Batwoman, which was a crazy in itself because getting any Bat Family character in these CW shows was thought to be near impossible because of the way the rights worked with the movies having their own stuff, and then the TV shows can't use what the movies are actually doing, so it's been one hell of a thing going through trying to get Batwoman onto the CW shows, but she's coming next year, and she's not coming alone, she's coming with the whole of Gotham City. We're actually going to be visiting Gotham City in the crossover next year, which is going to be interesting to see. I do have a theory about that as well, because we do know that I have the biggest feeling that next year's crossover is going to be mostly set on Earth 38, which is Supergirl's Earth, and this is because the Batwoman that has existed in the comics is Maggie, and we have a Maggie in the CW shows, so if they just bring back Maggie on Supergirl as Batwoman, and they have it mostly set on Earth 38, have like a threat on Earth 38 that everybody needs to go to rather than Earth 1 being in trouble, like everybody goes to help Supergirl instead, then they could introduce Batwoman onto that Earth, and they could have Maggie come back as Batwoman. That would be interesting. But personally, I'd like to see Kathy Kane, which is the original Batwoman. And in the comics, actually, Kathy Kane and Maggie, they were actually love interests for each other at one point, but I don't know how they're gonna change. They'd probably change that to have it be Alex and Maggie because they've had history. Unless Maggie comes back with somebody else, that would be interesting to see too. I don't know where they go with that, but it would be interesting to see that Maggie actually moved on from Alex, because I think it was Alex that actually did break up with Maggie in the season 3 of Supergirl. I'm a bit rusty on season 3 of Supergirl because I stopped watching it halfway through, but I'm gonna go back and watch it once the season is fully finished. But anyway, getting back to it, I have a feeling we will eventually get Batman in these shows. I have strong confidence. Even though we're having the Batman movies, just think that on Gotham in season 5 we're most likely going to be seeing Batman on that. And if they're going to Gotham City, why wouldn't Batman be there? Even though they don't have the rights, I have the feeling that they can have hints at him, like he's in the city somewhere, they just can't show him straight up until they can try and get the TV rights from Fox as soon as Gotham ends next year, because they did announce that Gotham was having its final 13-episode season next year, and that's going to be at normal Gotham, which means the rights for the TV rights for the Bat Family characters could go back up in the air, and it could swing to the CW, and they could get all of the rights for the Bat Family characters, and we'll be fine, and we can have versions of the Bat Family on the CW shows. Obviously, we're getting Batwoman next year with possibly Kathy Kane. I would like to see Kathy Kane. It is still completely possible that we could get Kathy Kane, but I have the feeling that because it's in the crossover, and they have said in the past that next year's crossover is actually going to be focused around Supergirl's Earth, that it's going to be Maggie, and they're going to bring Maggie back as Batwoman rather than having Kathy Kane. Maybe they have hints at Kathy Kane as the season progressed, like she talks about her, and like in flashbacks maybe, or stuff, or like just in dialogue cues they could tease Kathy, but that's the only way I can see them doing it, just because next year the rights for the Bat Family characters will still be with Fox, so it is complicated how they can do it, and it is amazing in itself how they actually have the rights to use Batwoman, and it might just be in a crossover, or they might be confirmed for Supergirl season 4. But having Batwoman in this universe actually opens up the door for them to maybe even be able to do a Justice League TV show, because we do know WB is on the back fence about doing a Justice League movie after what happened with the movie in 2017. It was a big commercial flop and a critical flop. It didn't really get many positive reviews, and overall people weren't very happy with it, but they know that their CW shows are successful. They know that they make money for them, and they know that they get making views for them. So, if the CW really think about it, they could make a Justice League show that is based around these Arrowverse characters. All they need to do is introduce another few vital characters, which they can do throughout the next few seasons, and maybe after Arrow ends, they can bring back Stephen Amell onto that show for the Justice League show, so they don't waste an actor, unless Stephen Amell, of course, wants to go and do something else. But they could introduce them slowly throughout the seasons, so they could introduce Green Lantern onto the Flash at some point, because they have history together. Then obviously maybe they can introduce Batman at some point in the... Well, they have Batwoman, so then the Batman could come with Batwoman at some point. That could be interesting, because obviously we know that if it is Kathy Kane is actually related. I believe she's the cousin of Bruce Wayne, so there is that possibility that Batman could come in through that way. We obviously already have Superman on Supergirl's Earth, so that's Superman's covered, and Martian Manhunter, and the Flash, so basically, all they need to do is introduce Green Lantern and a version of Batman from anywhere, and they have a fully functioning Justice League. Unless they want to introduce Wonder Woman, which they've actually set up the concept for, because in Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, they introduced Themyscira, and we had Helena Troy, and they could, instead of doing Diana, if they can't do the rights to Diana because Wonder Woman was so successful in the movies, they could replace her with Helena Troy, because she went off with the Time Agency at the end of... Time Bureau, at the end of Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, so there's every they could bring her back for a show like that, and there's every possibility she could appear in a crossover, and there's nothing stopping them from this crossover coming up to doing a full-on Justice League team-up. Like, their own version of the Justice League, obviously they won't have Batman, maybe they can introduce Green Lantern at some point during this crossover, but I do feel like Batwoman is a big enough character to just have her own introduction on her own, and that's it. Like, obviously we had the introduction of the Ray, but he was in this year's crossover, but he was a smaller character, and so was Citizen Cold, so they kind of filled up the gap with the new introductions, but I feel Batwoman is big enough of a character on her own to warrant just having her introduced in this crossover, and it would be enough. And then maybe in the next crossover they can introduce Batman and tee up a Justice League show going after that. It depends. This all depends obviously on how Arrow does go into Season 7, because we do know the ratings for Arrow has dropped dramatically after what's been going on with Season 6. And we know The Flash hasn't been doing so hot in Season 4 either. It's had mixed opinions on it. And honestly they need to fix that going into Season 5. But yeah, summing up, we're getting Gotham City, full-on Gotham City next year in the crossover. I have a feeling it's going to be Earth 38 Gotham City, and that Maggie went to Gotham City when she left National City in Season 3 of Supergirl, and she ended up meeting Bruce Wayne, becoming Batwoman. Maybe she succeeded Kathy Kane in becoming Batwoman, and then she came back after there was a crisis going on in National City in the crossover, and that is how they introduced Batwoman into this universe. And then obviously, because there's a crisis going on, it's a world-ending threat, they call the rest of the heroes from Earth 1 and the Legends of Tomorrow, and they all team up on Earth 38 and defend the Earth as their own version of the Justice League. So yeah, that would be awesome to see if that does play out like that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and are excited for seeing Batwoman and Gotham City next year in the crossover, please do hit that like button if you're new. Support is very much appreciated, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.